Humans Don't Make Good Familiars, Book 3, Chapter 26. Jake's Point of View. Never been woken up because of screaming. It isn't fun. In a jolt, I was awake. Wish I could say my armor was on and a weapon in my hand in a split second, but that would be a lie. Rather, there was a lot of floundering and confusion for a solid 5 or 6 seconds before I even considered it. "What's going on?" I yelled. After a moment of fear and screaming stopped. There was no explosions, no spells being cast. None of the others seemed to notice what was happening. Actually, only 9 was moving. He was still on the floor like he was earlier, but now he was flopping around, trying to get up. He'd been one yelling, "My familiar," he whined. "What happened?" I asked, still groggy from being woken. My familiar died just now, yeah, I was guiding him through a forest and he got attacked by wild animals. My connection with him just suddenly cut off while he was fighting," 9 said in shock. "Oh, I'm sorry, buddy," realizing I was about to be able to go back to sleep. I rolled onto my butt and leaned back against the wall. It all happened so quickly. Maybe you're still alive." Maybe, but I don't know much about how familiars work, ironically. His familiar was probably dead, but how was I supposed to know for sure? Didn't want to hurt his feelings, but still. Does the connection sever for any other reason? "No," he sighed. "How long have you been with your familiar?" "Since I was about a year before I joined the Drakes." Okay, so 2 years my time, I thought. "I'm really sorry, 9. Losing a pet, familiar, can be hard." "Thank you, Jake. I wish I'd taken you up on the offer to name him." Not knowing what to say, I stayed quiet. As 9 spoke, his voice cracked a few times. Niema don't cry, they sing, and he sounded on the verge. "I might sound dumb, but I was really close to my familiar. Sometimes I would even fall asleep on its head. It always seemed really enjoying when we spent time together." "Oh, I get it. Besides my mum, Suma is the person, or Niema, I'm closest to. We're pretty much always together." I looked around. No one else had moved an inch. "I doubt anyone else can hear you, and I'm not going to judge. Frick, I broke down crying in front of the Queen Impera and a bunch of royal mages." I spent some time consoling 9. He could tell me stories about his familiar, really. I never realized or even thought about how other Niema besides Suma treat their familiars, unless it was happening right in front of me. A while later, the others woke up from their spells. 9 said that they can't hear or see anything while in that state, which is why they have a lookout. Apparently, their job is to cast a spell on everyone if something happens, which will wake them up. For his sake, hopefully that's true, because he was very distraught. Once everyone was awake, the captain wanted to debrief us, what we found. The only person who wasn't participating was Suma, since she was still on guard. Captain Gregolus went first. "I found nothing of substance, only the burnt remains of a single village, but that is to be expected. What of you, Lieutenant?"
"There was a patrol of autonomous familiars. This could indicate a base nearby. We should avoid it if possible,"
Datuhus said. "What is an autonomous familiar?" I asked. "It is what you are," the captain said. "Meaning?"
"A familiar that a master does not directly control, but simply gives orders to and allows it to follow them in its own manner,"
the lieutenant said. "Oh, wait. How could you tell they were autonomous?" I asked.
"Their eyes were not glowing,"
the lieutenant said.
"If they were under direct control, their eyes would glow."
"Did you find anything else?" the captain asked.
"No, sir."
He nodded, and Lyric went next. "While travelling the river, Loyalty happened to come across a surviving village. They were recently attacked by Southern Union forces and were not destroyed. Instead, they had begun paying a tax assaults to their continued survival. 3 Niema and 3 Beetle Cat familiars were sent to collect the tax. I believe that we can infer the strength of the average forces using this as a reference." "Excellent work. We'll go over this in more detail later," Captain Gregolus said. 9, your turn."
My familiar was attacked by a wild animal and didn't survive, sir," 9 said sheepishly.
"I see. You have my sympathy. The loss of your familiar is a blow to our fighting strength as well. Do you have a secondary familiar?" the captain asked.
"I do not."
"Then you'll need to summon a new one. We'll need to make preparations beforehand. But we can manage it."
"Begin considering your criteria. If you have preferences in mind, the process will go quickly,"
the lieutenant said. "Now then, 14, report."
"Yes, sir. I found a group of what I think to be survivors from the initial invasion hiding in the forest. They have made hollowed-out trees their homes and were using native animals as pseudo-familiars. to do patrols and guard the area. They all looked to me like they expected me to ask another question. "What?" I asked. "Nothing. Moving on," Captain said. "Did you guys expect me to not know what a pseudo-familiar was? I'm not completely uneducated, you know." "Moving on." "Familiar," the captain repeated more sternly. Over our private connection, I contacted Suma. "Suma, what's a pseudo-familiar?"
What? Oh, it is a familiar that you can control but not summon, and has not yet been permanently bonded to a master. Only Niyama who do not possess enough mana to regularly summon a familiar use one. Traditionally, all familiars start out as them.
Suma explained. "Does that make me a pseudo-familiar?"
No, I can summon you, but not control you. Technically, you are a rogue familiar. Why?
"No reason, it just came up, thanks," I said, turning my attention back to the group and ending the connection. "So we have two main goals. One, investigate the survivors in the forest and find clues to locate Guardian Volondra," the captain said.
And 2, capture a member of the Southern Union to interrogate.
Lieutenant Datahu said. I missed something, I thought. Something important. Suma switched out all her duty with 14 after a while so she could sleep. Once everyone had rested and began travelling under the cover of darkness the next night, we grew enough fruits to last the day, and I was asked to store them in my bag so that we did not need to risk using magic again. Crossing the island wasn't easy. We all had to stay low to the ground, which meant no flying. So, after summoning their familiars, we started walking. Well, I walked. Everyone else rode. Suma and Nine were both perched on my shoulders as I traipsed through the mud, bushes, and thickets. My trousers had more holes than a net by noon, and more rips than Van Winkle's in the graveyard. It took a while, but eventually we arrived at the village Lurik found, hidden past the hill. Under the cover of night and foliage, they all started surveying, small lights flickering in the village, which Nine said were all small fires. "So, what do we do?" I asked. "We need to make contact. Lorik, you know the village's situation best. You will enter the village claiming to be a survivor looking for food for his family. Gather as much information from the island locals as you can," Captain said.
Sir, I recommend sending Jake as well.
Lieutenant Datu said, to my surprise. "Why?"
"I can handle it alone," Lorik said.
He will act as another set of eyes, and no one will question a familiar, as long as you do not speak and do not wear your metal garments,"
she explained. "What about his normal?" Nine started to ask, but did not let him finish. "You can stop right there, because I'm not going naked." We were all whispering, but I whispered louder that time. "It'll be fine. Some Niema just decorate their familiars for a variety of reasons," the captain said. "Yes, Captain," Lorik said. Suma and Nine flew down, and Lorik landed on my backpack. "We'll wait here until sunrise, and then move to the tree line. May the winds meet you," the captain said. With that, we went into town. As we got closer, the lights helped me see better, since there was no moonlight tonight. The village was a mess, nothing like Suma's hometown. Actually, it was more like a war-torn village from a bad Hollywood depiction in movies, and all the smell was strong like burnt charcoal and wood ash. There may not have been any smoke, but the smell itself was enough to make me choke, water my eyes just getting close. Was it like this the last time we visited? I whispered to Lorik. We were still far away from anyone, but to be safe I kept my voice down. "No, it has gotten worse," he whispered back. "I wanted to take a look around, but now I think leaving you alone would be a bad idea." "Why?" "There are signs of an attack. If I leave you, they may mistake you for an invading familiar and kill you." "Yeah, let's stick together then," I said. Soon we heard singing in the distance. Turning a corner, there were half a dozen Niema gathered around several small fowls, all singing.
"May your tree catch Asham's eyes, my child."
"May your tree catch Asham's eye, my child,"
one of the voices said, standing over the body, then cast a spell that caused roots to grow out of the ground and wrap around it. Where the body was, small tree grew until it was around the same height as I was.
"Jake, follow my lead, but remember not to talk,"
Lorik said, leaving my head and fluttering forward. He called out to the morning group.
"Aztahar's blessing."
Many of them looked startled as their feathers puffed up, and some screamed.
"Are you the Southern Vikings? Have you come to slay what is left of us?"
one of the elders asked angrily.
"I heard the writing of my manner and my familiar's manner for the trees."
He motioned for me to come closer, and there were murmurs in the small group. We have nothing to offer. Not any more, the elder who made the tree from the body said. I'm searching for someone, a Niama named Volundra. She might be with your younger Niama, Lorik said. I'm sorry, we do not know any named Niama, the elder said. But when he did, I noticed one of the other Niama, younger looking in the crowd, look away, towards one of the few intact buildings. But they quickly looked back, focusing on Lorik. But if you are still willing to offer your mana, we greatly appreciate it. Of course, Lorik looked at me. My familiar, put some mana into their death trees. I walked over and put a hand on the small tree, then flowed mana into them for a few seconds, then repeated it with each of the nearby trees, not really sure how much to put in. I just did it until the leaves changed colour. Your familiar seems to be quite extraordinary, to be able to imbue so many trees with a season's supply of mana, the elder said, sounding nervous. Are you a magus of some kind? No, Lorik said. His voice was uneven, upset in some ways. I was just blessed with a rather magically strong familiar. Regardless of my request, he said, changing the topic back. Is there anyone in the village who might know where we could find some capable and helping us locate our friend? The elder looked at me, his natural glitter dulled significantly. No, I'm sorry we could not be of any help. All we can give you is our thanks, he said, bowing and spreading his wings. Although unlike what I'd seen Niama do before when they bow, he pushed his wings straight back, rather than to the sides. I see. Then we shall take a leave. Be well, Lorik said, and fluttered up, landing once again on my backpack. Come, familiar, let us go to the next town. With that, we walked away. Once we were far enough out I could talk again, I did. Lorik, did you notice the Niama in the crowd's reaction earlier, when the elder said they didn't know any named Niama? I did not. They looked over at the building. It was in pretty good shape, despite the rest of the town looking like it had been bombed. Bombed? Like ruined. He thought. Perhaps. Wait, shh, someone's coming, Lorik said, suddenly whispering and looking behind us throughout the darkness. I heard flapping and saw the faint outline of Niama flying up, and it landed nearby and called out to us in a hushed tone.
Stranger, stranger,
loudly whispered.
You said you were looking for a named Niama.
Yes, Volundra, Lorik said.
Our elder did not lie. We do not know this Niama. But I must know, are you an enemy of the southern invaders?
And if I am?
Then you could not be an enemy of mine.
Why did you come here, young one? Lorik asked.
Yesterday our village rebelled. Those Vikings took everything we had, food, jelgers, even our mages, all to feed their war. What few of us were left fought back. You saw the result.
The Niama said. Admirable, but why tell me this?
Because we may have lost, but we did take something from them. We have 2 of their soldiers held in our old familiar's pen. They may know where your friend is.
You did not answer my question. Why are you telling me this? What do you stand to gain? Lorik asked, more intensely.
Your familiar. One of the trees he felled was my mother's. She was the one who captured one of those 2. We were just going to kill them or ransom them back and trade for seeds and supplies, but you know that is pointless.
Indeed, the SU would never trade supplies for men, unless they were the ones getting the supplies. They would simply ignore you, or upon realization that you had their people held hostage, would send the force to kill everyone in the area. Frick, I thought. These southern guys really don't play around.
Take them. Find your friend. At least that way my mother's sacrifice will not go to waste.
Lorik nodded and told the Niama that we would be back by morning, with a few others to take the hostages. The Niama agreed to help us sneak in and out of the pen. End of chapter. I'd greatly like to thank our Tier 5 channel members, Casper Arnholtz, John Creighton, Manatharia, 050, Dragzoon W.R.E, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.